Next guest is a Tunisian author. Her latest book, released in 2022, translates from Arabic to Things. Samar Samir Mezghanni, normally based in Tunisia, joins us live via Skype from Ottawa, Canada, as I understand it tonight. Thank you for doing this. How surprised, if at all, are you by these inflammatory comments by Kais Said?
I'm not very surprised. In fact, there are different, this is a result of many things that I can go through. But most of all, I am ashamed. I feel very ashamed and frustrated and angry about the speech. In my PhD, I studied a discourse analysis of minorities of Muslims in the United Kingdom. And I can see now similarities between the negative perpetuated stereotypes I've studied and what this speech has presented. Discursive practices of collectivization, of otherness, and of demonizing different people in Tunisia and in other places, minorities in general in every country. There are similar practices, discursive practices, and I'm very ashamed that this is one that we're seeing now in Tunisia at the highest level.
Racist and shocking is how his comments have been described by many who they were aimed at. There are those who are suggesting that this is the president using migration as a cover to avoid addressing what is Tunisia's worsening economic situation at present. Just how bad are things, and do you see that as a genuine criticism?
Yes, people are frustrated. A lot of young people are disenchanted. They are angry, and it is easier to put the blame and find a scapegoat than to admit one's own mistakes and failures. So this is an easier strategy that can find echoes in society as well, because there are people who can, out of ignorance or out of racism, agree with the speech. But there are also people who are now fighting these stereotypes and showing their pride and their pride in their African identity, because Tunisia is an African country, and Tunisians have diverse identities, in fact, that can live in harmony instead of being conflicting and opposing each other.
There will be those watching this tonight, this interview, who will remark that Tunisia, until very recently, was always hailed as the great success story out of what was known as the Arab Spring, the sort of, the last bastion of democracy, if you will. What went wrong?
I think we have to put this in a global context. We Tunisians see, for example, the U.S. as a democracy, the model of democracy. We see many countries in the western part of the world, Europe, North America. We see them as democratic examples to follow. And in these countries, in these same countries, we see a lot of racism. We see xenophobic discourses. We see a lot of practices against immigrants, refugees, minorities. So this is just the trickle-down effect of a global North discourse against minorities that is now witnessed in the global South. In fact, in the words of a very famous Tunisian philosopher who was, in fact, the founder of sociology, Ibn Khaldun, he says the defeated wants to imitate the victor. And this is why I'm not very surprised, because for a lot of Tunisians, if we look at colonialist and neo-colonialist power dynamics, this is only a result that is expected by Tunisians to be reproducing the same representations we're seeing in Western countries, unfortunately.
It's good to have you on. We'll have you back. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Taking a very short break. Back after this.